But a year to make love, she wanted you to wait. Let me tell you a story of my situation.
You gotta
I
love
was
old
talking
school,
to this
right,
girl
guys?
from the US nation. The way that I met her was on tour at a concert. She had long hair and a short mini
I
skirt.
love the
I
old
guess
school
the
jams.
champagne dripping form was
My
sweet.
producer and director, Natalie, she's a little younger than I am, but she laughs when I tell her about the stories of how we grew up, you know? And something that came across to me about telling her was when me and my wife were at the pool the other day and we saw a bunch of kids. Now, the kids are dressed up in these arm floaties and the life jacket and things around their legs. They couldn't drown if they wanted to. They throw them in the pool. They just float like a buoy, okay, like a bobber on a fishing rod, which is a good thing. There are some good inventions that came from the later years, but I talked about like when we grew up. They didn't have that. When you rode a skateboard, they were the plastic skateboards with the rubber wheels, and there was no elbow pads or knee pads or helmet. In fact, if you tried to wear something like that, they would either think, this guy is stupid, and I don't want to be mean, because it is what it is. But, back in our days, that's what special ed kids wore and stuff, the elbow pad, knee pads, and helmets. But that's not saying that it's a bad thing. My wife would kill me if she heard me saying that. Nevertheless, that's what it's come to be. We were the kind of generation that rode our 10 speeds with no chain guard, bell bottom jeans, and no helmet and elbow pads. We would take that flip over the handlebars, skid ourselves. We would go into the house crying. Grandma or mom would put on the mercurochrome. Bet you all forgot about that. It'd make it look like we were bloodier than we were in the first place, but that's how we got healed. Grandma blow on it, send your ass back outside to play. And I love those old playing days. Nowadays, you ask a kid to come over and play football, they bring their damn joystick. I'm like, what the hell is that about? Their control pad. No, you want to go outside and you want to play football. You know what I'm talking about. Nevertheless, the kids have changed, and I'm thinking to myself, boy, these kids they've been pampered a lot their life. Maybe that's why the ways that times are now is that you can't say shit about anything, or it's demeaning, or it's a bad, or something like that. I mean, I think it's kind of funny that these kids have to wear all these padding and stuff like that. I'm thinking to myself, their parents must have grew up a little bit that way. I don't know. My grandmother just never even thought about things like that. But that being said, you move on in time. And times, like I said, being changed, things change. Things become different. You guys remember when you got old enough to have sex? Remember, I was 19 years old, so it wasn't that long ago. But there was these things that came out. Now, you always knew about the rubber. Personally, I'm not a fan of the rubber. Never was. Not saying that it's not protecting or anything like that. It's just that I don't like putting my dick in something like a rubber bag to make it suffocate. Okay? I mean, I can't put one of those things on. Even if you got the magnums, you put it on there and it's strangulating your dick. It can't get no air. You ain't got no feeling. By the time you get one on, you've already lost your heart on. I mean, I've only met one girl in my life that was able to put a rubber on me without losing my heart on. And that was the sexiest thing I ever seen in my life. She did it with her mouth. I've never seen it then. I never seen it before, and I haven't seen it since. It just was remarkable. But it's the only time I've ever been able to use a rubber. But in our day, they also had a thing called the sponge. Now, the Today sponge was the thing back then. You didn't have to use rubber. The girl would insert the sponge. The only problem with the sponge and why they FDA had to cancel it is because that foam that came out of that stuff, that shit was like, I don't know, like sulfuric acid. Okay? I don't know how the girls didn't feel it, but when your guy was done with it, your whole dick was red. It was just burning. It was like, God dang. It's like someone put that shit through a cheese grater or something like that. I did not I cared for it, and at the same time, you didn't care for it. With the guy, it's like, okay, I'm gonna get some ass, but at the same time, my dick may fall off, but it was okay. That's how fucking horny guys get. All right, that's just that's just what it is. That being said, I really wanted to talk to you today about online dating. Now, a lot of people still do the online dating thing, but have you ever noticed with online dating, the pictures are sometimes not real? I have done the online dating thing once. I was in New Hampshire. I was coaching for St. Anselm's University. And I thought, you know what, I'm down here. I wasn't married at the time. I'm going to check it out. And I got a picture. Now, what's funny is these girls, they take a picture. First of all, it's 9 years old or 10 years old. So don't expect that the picture you're going to get is the girl that's there. It's brushed up. And I love the girls that take the picture from way above. So you see their face and you see their chest, but you don't see anything else. So you got to think, you got a 10-year-old picture with a face and a chest, and you're thinking to yourself, well, I mean, she looks kind of cute. I actually went to an apartment one time. She invited me over, wanted to have a drink with me before we went out. And, she did her due diligence on me, so that was kind of cool. And I went over to the place. She opened the door and she goes, hello. And me, my dumb ass, not being as couth as I am today, I'm looking above her head. I'm looking around her in the door. And she's like, what are you looking at? I'm saying, is Stacy here? And she goes, you fool, I am Stacy. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, you're not. That's not what the picture showed me on the computer. But I did not say that. And she invited me in, and we had a couple of drinks. And then I made up I'll just say the white lie of, I forgot to pick up something at the store before I came over. I needed my medication, so I'll be right back. I left so fast out of there, I even left my bottle there in the drink. Let her have it. There was no way I was going back to that scene. But the online dating scene is just something else now. I've heard that girls get into situations where they go to meet the guy. And I'm not saying that the girls are their own liars. The guys are liars too. They show a picture of them at 38. They show up, the guy's 52, missing his hair. All right. And just like, hey, it's me. I'm like, no, it ain't. No, that's false advertising. In fact, some of that shit's so bad, you want to take it to Judge Judy and say, they false advertised me. I would like my first date money back. Okay, that's what I want. All right, that's all I'm saying. Now, what really is kind of upsetting about it is online dating could have been used very well. You don't have to lie about who you are or what you are on online dating, but for some reason, they still do. I don't get it. I mean, come on, girls. If you want a guy who will be honest with you, my question is, would you really answer the phone call or answer the text back if they really showed them your real picture? I asked the guys the same thing. Would you do something like that? I don't know. I personally, like I said, tried it one time, and I myself, I don't know if I would do anything like that. Okay, I would be very, very cautious next time I would go out on a date if I was y'all. I don't do that no more. In fact, I'll tell you something right now. If my wife seen an online dating site on my computer, you know what she'd say? She would call the girl up and say, you take him, okay? It's enough of me. All right, you can have him. She said, I ain't worried about you trying to date another girl. Sure, you got your NFL thing and all that stuff going on. But once she had you, once she spent 2 weeks with you, of living with you, she would send you back with no return address on the package. All right, that's what she would do. And my wife's right. Yeah, I mean, she does bear with a lot of stuff that I take for granted. But I think all our girls do that. Our wives or our girlfriends. Gentlemen, I have to tell you, you are not the all be it of a package. There are things about you that women do not like. You ever catch your girlfriend or your wife just looking at you, just staring at you for a long time. You eating or you doing something and she just looking at you. And you're asking like, what is she staring at? I'm going to tell you what she's staring at. She's thinking to herself, I could have had Paul. I could have dated Mike. What the fuck am I doing right here? But she's already put so much time and investment in making you who you are today. She don't want to give you up. It's like a used car that you know you're the only person who's, or a car that gets used years after. You know you're the only person to have ever driven that car. So you know you won't sell this car for another used car because you don't know who the hell drove the shit out of that car. But you know that that car that you have is your special car. That's how women think about us, gentlemen. They think we're their used car. All right, they've put a lot of effort, they put a lot of mileage on us, but they've also took care of us, driven us very safely, and they know what they're getting. Do you know how hard it is to go out and try to buy a new used car and then give up your old used car knowing that you have already taken care of it? That shit is hard. That's just like women. They put that care and that stuff into us, and they don't want to deal with another guy that's just as fucked up as we were when we got to them. Now, guys, what's funny about guys is they get that midlife crisis and they think, well, I got a little money. I'll just go get me a nice Vet or a Mustang and I'll pick up women. I want to tell you something, okay? Unless you got some money in the bank, these women that are 25 years younger than you, they ain't dating you for you. They're dating you for what you show them that you could be or that you are, but it's all a facade. That ain't you. When you get home, take off the clothes. It's like the girl that wears Spanx to the bar. All right? She looks good when you pick her up. You get her home, lets that shit off, and everything falls out. You're like, what the hell is this? I never knew what Spanx was until I watched a girl take off her Spanx. And I said, she went from 145 pounds to 190 that quick. Nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But I think that's like, that's what you would call puffing in a car sale. All right. This woman was only driven to church on Sundays by a little old lady from Pasadena. No. That woman was driven all around the United States. All right. The mileage thing was turned back. The tachometer was turned back on that shit. And you're not supposed to know it, but that's what Spanx do. They turn back the mileage on you, just like men that put their fake pictures out there or try to be the 55-year-old midlife crisis guy. No, she is not dating you because you look good. She's dating you because your wallet looks good. I just want to reiterate on that. So if you got a girl or a guy and you've been with them for a little bit and you've got them the way you want them, hold on to that person. You think there's something better out there, but there ain't nothing better. All right, there ain't. You think the grass is greener on the other side? No, the grass may be greener, but it's just as hard to cut. That's what it is. Don't forget that. That's a Gary D message to you. And hope you come and see me at our comedy gig when we have it. I'll set the dates out. I'm Gary D, and I'm out of here. Thank you.